So a lot's happened. We've had a big deal with Telstra signed or re-signed version 2 to maintain the lease of the infrastructure to roll out the network. We've had a change in network technology, as you all know, and we're now covering around 500,000 premises. Again, just to remind everybody, when we talk NBN speak or metrics, they're talking about premises, not people or devices. So it's more of a fixed concept. We're ramping up now to hit about 6,000. That's connecting and switching on 6,000 premises a day. That's not going to be our full stride. The number is going to be quite high, and there's a whole machine underway to do that. As you know, there are trials underway at the moment, and this area falls into those trials, both in New South Wales and parts of Queensland. We've got a design and construct trial going on. That is, how do we build the fibre to the node network fast and comprehensively without disruption and get the thing on, working with all the partners required. So that's underway in these areas, as you know, down in the Gosford area, and Wyong and Lake Macquarie and here. Now, I'll pause there and make this point. While we've announced that trial, and that was really the focus of the conversation we had here last time, I've also left you with this document, which is a December 1 issued media release outlining further houses and premises and suburbs and towns and cities in New South Wales. So this forms part of a larger national announcement that we are going to build. So an important point is that while we've announced the trials and the footprints we'll go through, this is also going to be underway and or constructed or completed depending on by September 16. So that's next September. So these 659,000 premises in New South Wales, in addition to those that we'll probably talk about here this morning, underway or completed by September next year. So just to make that distinction for you. Right. The network, as you know, we moved to a multi-technology mix. It's a three-pronged network topology, a fixed line network, a fixed wireless network, and a long-term satellite solution network. So I'll quickly just go through all the fixed line options. Now, what you've got here is an exchange that we've taken over. We'll put racks and servers in Telstra partition, so we manage it. And then you've got distribution fibre going through the street, and in the first one, fibre to the premise, all the way through the home, house, apartment, small business, large enterprise. You go to the next one, fibre to the node, the same thing. Voice, data, emails, images in light format at the speed of light from the exchange through the node. But then we don't dig up the driveway, we pump the bit stream of data through faster. So just a little note there, you need speed for your data. You don't need speed for your voice, you just need quality of service for your voice. And then fibre to the basement, the same sort of scenario. We'll go into a multi-dwelling unit like this, find a natural point to put it or a non-natural point like the comms room downstairs, and then depending on the scenario and work with the body corporate, look at either the internal wiring as it is or upgrading that as well. We are the wholesaler, so another important point to make, there are several retail service providers here. They're the people that you will go to check where the rollout is at, when you can place an order, what type of service you will get, and there's a growing range of those. With the fibre to the node network, I should point out what we'll be doing, because it comes in speed ranges, we will be giving a tool to all the retail service providers, pretty much everyone on there, that when you go into their store or call them up over the phone, they'll be able to pre-qualify your home or business based on your address or the ID that we have in our system as to what speed range you'll be able to get. So, you know, you won't be signing up for a certain speed and getting something less than that. You'll be getting a range of speeds. Progress update. That's the network topology. Again, I won't go through that in detail. Essentially what you're looking at there is the exchange on this side running through to the house or property. So this is working with councils. We don't have a real formal relationship with council, but we have to work with residents to put nodes in the street, and that's basically the integration box, if you like, from the exchange through. There are many other countries that have got these networks up and running. British Telecom, Hanaro Telecom in Korea, parts of the US. So hybrid networks are natural around the world. As the point down the bottom, there's around 40 million properties already globally already on these types of networks. So they're not an immature or a new technology. So this is the trial. So again, you would have seen this footprint. This is the trial area, separate to this again. And as I said, there are similar maps, and I'll just go to one quickly. Oh, that's fixed wireless, sorry. There are similar maps for Belmont. Just go back. Now, essentially, the rollout happens in several phases. We plan the thing, we remediate some of the infrastructure, so we get it up to speed, or upgrade the pits, the pipes, exchanges, that sort of thing. Then we construct it, and construction in our definition is hauling the fibre, putting in new pits, placing the street furniture and connecting the street furniture. And then we move into the commissioning phase, which is essentially testing that it works all the way through. And then we go through to the commercial phase, which is when you can go to a retail service provider and can order a service through them, which comes to us. Then we do the last part, the lead-ins and the connections and that sort of thing. So this pretty much is on track. I can't today give you the date we'll switch this on in Newcastle. It will be this year going to plan. That commercial services will be available, and there are things happening with a range of groups that I won't go through now to look at, ways of bringing greater speed and capacity into that particular trial site as well. So with that, I'll move to fixed wireless, and I'm sure you'll have lots of questions later.
Thanks, Darren. Just my role is engagement in relation to the fixed wireless rollout, and we've been working in the Hunter for a good few years now. And particularly, we have services live in the northern part of the Hunter, in the surrounds of the township of Dungog, as well as the surrounds of Scone and the township of Merriwar. And we've got services live in Barrington, Gloucester, and also Parkville. Fixed wireless is one of the technologies that is used as part of the NBN rollout. It itself, they referred to it some time ago, was the 7% in terms of, from a popular premise density scenario, fixed wireless and our long-term satellite solution will service roughly around sort of 7 to 8% of the population. And it is typically rolled out in the surrounds of larger townships and cities where the density drops away to those rural residential type blocks. And then also it is rolled out in smaller communities where the density could range from a few hundred premises up to sort of 700 or 800 premises, like Merriwar, for example. So we're heavily engaged at the moment in the Hunter, working with the local councils in that area, because fixed wireless itself is a technology that is, again, it's 4G, very similar to what the mobile carriers use. However, the difference is you need an antenna on your home or business to get the service, and that way we are delivering a much more consistent, reliable service to the premise, and also too we can control that variable of knowing how many people are on the network at any one time and their usage, which again with the mobile network you can't control that variable, because you've got numbers of users coming in and out of a base station cell area with a mobile device, or numbers of mobile devices. Let's refer to Darren's area. This is the area we're currently working in the Hunter with the LGA, the footprint. As Ericsson were awarded the contract to roll out the fixed wireless network, and then they issued tranches of work as part of that build into each area. And at the moment we're engaged with Cessnock, Singleton, Port Stephens, Dungog and Maitland Council, and lodging planning applications where required to put in new infrastructure. One of the things that we try and do as a priority is to use existing infrastructure wherever possible, so existing mobile base stations, broadcast towers where it makes sense, or even council-owned infrastructure where it is possible. But where we can't, we then have to put in our own. We don't get any exemptions under the Telecommunications Act, so certainly from under the New South Wales planning scheme, we either have to use the development application process or ISEP. So it's really important that we work closely with councils and communities and do significant engagement to ensure that the community has the understanding of just what it means, but also to the importance of getting the sites up and operational. I talked a little bit about that, so I won't go back into that too much further. But in terms of the network itself, at the moment we're offering 2 speed tiers of 12 megabits per second down and 1 up as our base starting speed tier. That's we've had 25 megabits per second down and up to 5 up as our current tier. And this week we commenced a trial that'll run for 3 months with peak speeds of 50 megabits per 50 megabits per second download speeds and up to 20 up. We're trialling that for 3 months across the network nationally to push that out to see, obviously, well, not only how that will perform, but how far into the footprint we can achieve those sorts of speeds as well. And then at the end of that trial, the end user, it'll be up to the service providers to negotiate whether they wish to continue on that service or they'll be wound back to the 25.5 at the end of that trial. So the great thing about this network as we get it up and rolling, is that we've delivered 3 incremental speed changes already in the network that we've built. So from the longer term scenario, we're going to be able to continually deliver greater speeds and more capacity to regional rural areas. And this morning at the meeting, which was really a very interesting conversation to hear, the conversation around ubiquity, because it won't just be around one type of access, it'll be about people wanting to access high-speed broadband no matter where they are, no matter on what device, and in the end no matter where in the world they are, from a single source. In terms of that connection, just to highlight sort of how the different from a differentiation point of view, these facilities look exactly like a mobile base station, but the difference is that last hop is done via a wireless signal to that antenna, which is installed on the end user's home or business. That's then wired into the home. The cost of the standard installation is free at NBNCo's cost, and the end user just negotiates the plan and suitable price point for them with their service providers. As I said a little bit earlier, that coincides with our long-term satellite solution. We're on track to launch 2 satellites this year that will only be used for high-speed broadband for NBN end users, and that will be on track to be available in the middle of 2016. So we're going to be able to provide further updates as those 2 satellites get launched, and in terms of the ongoing the cutover once services become available for provisioning. We've also I'll quickly highlight, we have a co-development program, so we work very closely with local governments and other infrastructure providers where there might be works going on in an area to try and minimise the impact in the local region, but also too from an efficiency and cost reduction point of view. If councils are doing street upgrades or major infrastructure works, it's good for us to work with them to look at where we can actually coincide to make it more efficient and actually reduce costs from both perspectives. The other thing, just quickly, I will highlight is another policy that's been released since we last met, and that is our technology choice program. That is where communities or an area is able to upgrade from one technology. If they can do a technology switch, it's again at a cost recovery scenario from upgrade. It's available on technologies from moving from fibre to the node if you wish to move to a fibre to the premise scenario. It's available for a fixed wireless coverage area to receive fibre to the premise, and also too from a satellite area to be able to receive fixed wireless. So there is that option for communities and also areas of high economic performance where if they do deem that they require that type of a different type of technology for their longer term needs, that is available as well. And these details are all available on our website. And we've received a number of applications, including one from Newcastle itself. As you're probably aware, if you're not aware, one of the changes that we have recently made is NBN have just launched their new brand. That has just gone live in May, so that has certainly we'll see significant change in our look and feel, and also the language that we use around the rollout of the network itself. As Darren was alluding to, as we get closer to the services becoming available in the area, and in the area where we already are live, as I said, those areas of Upper Hunter, we will continue to do print, radio, experiential, digital, outdoor signage, as well as through Australia Post. And I'm not sure if you've seen some of our campaign material already, but you'll see this new this new logo that we're using, as well as our longer term, again, obviously the whole company will go through that rebranding exercise. And it is quite different to what we were using in the past, so it certainly is resonating well from our early feedback. So in terms of where we're working, these areas, people can go to the website now and check their address to see if they're available. So they basically go in there, type their address on the NBNCo website. If they're in build prep, and work has commenced in their area, they then can actually click through to the list of RSPs that are available in the area and start having that conversation around price points and the types of plans. One of the things that we're doing at the moment as well is running a national ad campaign as well for the first time, and I just thought I'll quickly.
NBN is upgrading Australia's landline phone and internet network. It'll open up exciting new opportunities in how we learn, how we work and connect. As we roll out the new network, parts of the existing network will be switched off. However, moving to NBN's network doesn't happen automatically. You'll need to contact a phone or internet provider. Visit nbn.com.au to find out more.
So in areas where, in this fixed line rollout, where the areas, some of the network, the previous network will be switched off, in areas where satellite and fixed wireless is rolled out, the NBN is a new option for them. If they want to keep their existing copper phone landline, they're able to, or if they've got an existing provision of ADSL service, they're certainly able to keep that as well. So it's a new option for them as opposed to a mandatory migration. And then once services do go live, they receive a notification, a letter, and probably a number of letters from us, and also two from service providers. We have kits available online, and also too, we do a lot of information sessions locally in the community as well as services go live, because there is obviously that message that needs to get out. Not only is it available, but just to answer and clarify people in terms of that conversation around, well, do I need to switch? When do I need to? How do I get connected? Where do I need to look at the putting the equipment inside our home? So there still is a conversation for us to be had with the end users through that early period. And these are just some of the examples of you'll start to see around through the the greater Newcastle area and Hunter over time as we get into this rollout. And that's where people provision on our website. You can put their address in to check to see if it's available, and then they can choose a service provider. That's pretty much it from us. Thanks very much, and we'll take questions at the end. Thank you.